What's going on, Jerome? So we're roughly at the halfway point of the 2023 NFL season, and with some thoughts about how teams are doing, stat leaders, how the draft is shaping up, or how rookies are faring this year, etc. So grip it or rip it. Take a look at the AFC first. So you do have the Ravens up on top with the Chiefs at 7-2, and I don't know, like, I just believe in the Ravens a lot more than the Chiefs. I understand that the Kansas City has a nuclear weapon in Patrick Mahomes, but Lamar Jackson's playing at a high level. Now, some weeks he doesn't do as much as you would want him to, but I do like that new offense with Todd Monken, and they're able to run the ball effectively. Defensively, they get after it with that front seven, which is redonkulous. So I actually do think that the Ravens right now, they may be a slight favorite over the Chiefs in the AFC. And I understand, like, KC just took it to the Dolphins, where, I mean, the Dolphins are 6-3, but they haven't beaten a good team yet, and they're really good front runners, where they beat the piss out of medium and bad teams, but they just can't hang with good teams. That's what we've seen from the Dolphins this year. The Bills are completely hot and cold. Like, you don't really know which team is going to show up, and it's a reflection of Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen can be ass. Josh Allen can be great, and he can do both in the same game. It's rough. The Jets at 4-4, I do think, are overachieving, and they should have made a change at quarterback. Frankly, Trevor Siemian would give them a better chance over Zach Wilson, but I understand he's a high draft pick of the current regime. So it's frustrating. I mean, the Jets' defense under Rob Saleh is fantastic, but I do think that Rob and Douglas are going to get washed out in New York, and then they hit the reset button and go from there. Patriots are ass. I think that the Patriots are probably going to fire or trade Bill Belichick in the offseason. I don't think that they would do him dirty. Like, if they get starched by the Colts in Germany, I don't think Belichick gets fired on the way back and Gerard Mayo takes over. I don't believe that. I do think that him being traded to the commies actually makes sense for both sides. There you go. Also, Belichick could be the only coach in NFL history that's been traded 3 times. Then you got the AFC North. Like we said, the Ravens are up top. Steelers, Tomlin's got the Steelers way overachieving, and I don't really believe in them as of right now, but I guess you do never know. And Kenny Pickett is whatever. Their entire offense is whatever. Defensively, they get after with Watt and Highsmith. Cam Hayward being back is huge. Also, JPJ is developing into a stud. Actually, as of right now, if the playoffs started today, all 4 AFC North teams would be making it. So you got the Ravens winning at the 2 seed, and then you got the Steelers, the Browns, and the Bengals, all 3 as wild cards, which is kind of fun. And the Bills would actually be on the outside looking in right now. And then you look at the AFC South. So Jacksonville riding that hot streak. You do love to see that. The Texans. The Texans are kind of sporty. And I actually like Houston on the road getting a touchdown against the Bengals, who are kind of banged up right now. I think that Stroud and Tank Dell, I think, are going to make sweet music for many years to come. They're getting healthy, especially along the offensive line. And D'Amico Ryan's got this team playing fantastic football. Now, are they contenders? No, but I would love to see Houston sneak into the playoff places, get a wild card. I think that'd be a huge boost for the franchise. Stroud seems like the real deal. Colts, whatever. I mean, Colts are fighting, but without Anthony Richardson. Tennessee, I actually do kind of believe in Will Levis. Like, I don't believe in him, but I think that the Jay Cutler comparisons in the draft were completely applicable. The Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, but they're fallible. Like, the Vikings should and could have beat them. Chargers. So the Chargers are a lot like the Bills. You don't really know who's going to show up. And Herbert and Josh Allen, both very highly variant, and they could either be on, they could be off. Like, the Chargers getting that big win against the Jets had nothing to do with Herbert. He was relatively tamed by that good Jets defense. The Raiders, so, I mean, maybe Aiden O'Connell can become something, but I think that the boost of them moving on from Josh McDaniel, I think that will wear thin eventually. But I do like Antonio Pierce. I think he's a leader of men. I think he understands what's going to make this team click, and maybe they get off the mat, and the Broncos are ass. Thank you. The NFC. Oh, look at the AFC playoff chase. So, Chiefs, Ravens, Jaguars, Dolphins. Yes, like we said, all three other 3 AFC North teams are wild cards. And other than that, like, I think it's Bills, Texans, Chargers. I think that's the cutoff. Like, I don't think that the Jets, Colts, Raiders, or Titans get back into this race. NFC. So the Eagles should have gotten week 2, but that's beside the point. But right now they're the class of the NFC. The Lions at 6-2, coming off the bye. I just don't buy into the Lions yet. I understand that they play tough and aggressive, and they love Dan Campbell, but I think that they can get got. I think that they're much closer to the team that got starched by the Ravens than the team that everyone thinks that they are. I think that they're going to have some tough sledding here coming up, hopefully starting this week. And Chargers, one time Chargers. Vikings, hottest team in the NFL. And I say that without a hint of irony. 1-4 straight, 5 out of the last 6, and they are simply getting it done. And I do think that they will be 9-4 heading into the Bengals game coming up later in the season. Packers are ass. Bears. I mean, the Bears are just good enough where they're going to tank their draft spot, but they'll still have Carolina's, which I think Carolina will end up. I think they'll end up 1 because I think Arizona will actually win a couple games here coming up. But Cowboys. So the Cowboys' defense is great, even without Diggs. I don't trust Dak. Goes back and forth. CD's having a bust-out year, which you love to see. Tony Pollard got the tag, and then he reverted. He's not good this year. Although their offensive line is great. Tyler Smith is a stud. Commies, they're doing what they can. Slinging Sam Howell does not give an F. I love that he just goes out there and slings it. Their offensive line is bad. They got rid of Sweat and Chase Young, but, I mean, they're still kind of sporty. Giants are absolutely putrid. The Saints at 5-4. So you don't believe in Derek Carr. I mean, Taysom Hill is the best quarterback on that team. They can't get the ball to Olave. The defense is absolutely studly. So it's going to be a bit of a tough game on Sunday for the Vikings. Falcons defense is there. Offensively, they got the weapons, but they need to fire Arthur Smith, and they need to trade for Justin Fields. And all of a sudden, that team gets super, super interesting. The Bucks, Panthers. I think that Frank Reich might be a one-and-done with Carolina. David Tepper has shown that he's very impatient, both with the Panthers as well as his soccer club. So I think that this is really unacceptable. And Bryce Young, God love him, he tries hard, but he's got no talent around him, and he's not playing very well. It's a bad combination. And also the fact that Stroud is lighting it up. It's tough look for Panthers fans right now, and they don't have the first-round pick next year, which is going to be high, maybe even number 1. The NFC West, so it's wide open right now. Where Seattle has its flaws, yes, but the Niners have lost 3 games in a row. I think they'll make it 4 on Sunday, losing to Jacksonville, and it's really a 2-team race. The Rams are the epitome of whatever. Injuries as well as lack of depth on that team. Also, Sean McVay doesn't have Kevin O'Connell or Wes Phelps. And then Arizona fought hard with Dobbs. They completely mailed it in last week against the Browns, but also the Cardinals get back Kyler this week, so that could give them a little bit of boost. And I actually think that they string together a couple games and maybe sort of tank their draft position. In terms of the NFC playoff chase, so the Vikings firmly in the 7th seed and rising. Come on up for the Rising. And also a win against the Saints on Sunday really solidifies them and moves their conference record to 6-2. Other than that, I don't believe in the Commies or the Falcons or the Bucks. So I think, if you could bet right now that these 7 teams, the Eagles, Lions, Niners, Saints, Seahawks, and Cowboys and Vikings are the 7 teams that are going to make the playoffs, I think that you would get a decent price, and I think that would be a good bet. Because I don't really see any of these other 8 and above teams just completely getting it back into the race. I really don't. But I think the Vikings, I think the Lions are quietly sweating it a little bit. That they see the Vikings playing some great ball, and we'll just go from there. That's right. That's right, baby. Then the stat leaders. So Tua is out there chucking it, even though it's so weird. Tua's leading the league in passing yards, even though they're basically a run-first team. But it certainly does help when you can just chuck it up to Tyreek and Waddle. It's all good. Then Slinging Sam Howell getting things done. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Hurts. Kirk was 2 before he got hurt. Yeah. Rushing-wise, there's a lot going on. So McCaffrey is a little bit more do-it-all back. But in terms of that bell cow running back, people are on pace for 1,300 yards on the ground, which is not a lot. And Zach Moss is still in there, even though he's splitting time now with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Swift had a hot start. He sort of faded. Mostert. I love that Mostert is getting it done at age 31. He's doing it for all the old running backs. Derrick Henry's still there. Tyreek, A.J. Brown. Tyreek puts up numbers, yes, but A.J. Brown has simply been dominant over this last stretch. Diggs, no matter how bad the game is, Stephon Diggs either scores a touchdown or gets you 100 yards. like clockwork, man. Puka's still up there. CD is having a beastly year. Respect. JJ and Addison are gonna get their way back onto those lists. Defensively, Edwards, big time free agent signee. Racking up and stacking up tackles. Franklin is all up in there. Luke Konu is one of the more underrated off balls in the game. Roquan Smith, he's just happy that he's not in Chicago anymore. And Bobby Wagner, redemption tour after a year with the Rams. He's doing well with Seattle. And then also I'll throw Jordan Hicks in there. Like Jordan Hicks is top 10 in tackles. He's look good. Same thing with Cam Beasley. For sacks, Daniil with 10. All of the love goes to TJ, Myles Garrett, and Micah Parsons. And I will say that Max Crosby, baby Jared Allen, the pride of Eastern Michigan, like he and Daniil are completely getting hosed in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. But I guess we'll just have to keep putting up great numbers. Then for picks, so Geno Stone for the Ravens, like Geno's doing a fantastic job back there, absolute ball hawk. Paulson Adebo is the reigning defending NFC Defensive Player of the Week. It's a player to watch out for the Vikings. I mean that's secondary with the Saints. I mean, you got Honey Badger back there. You got Adebo. You do have Lattimore, who's but yeah, getting it done. Deron Bland stepping up in the absence of Diggs, which is great. Nelson, I've always liked Nelson, sort of a veteran, bounce around the league, and then Whitehead is getting it done too with the whole Jets defense, especially that secondary, is just really damn studly. Draft pick wise, yeah. So Bryce Young, no. Stroud, yes. Will Anderson, yes. Anthony Richardson got hurt, got dinged up. Devin Witherspoon is a bona fide superstar. He's fantastic, and he definitely deserved to be cornerback 1 in this class. Tyree, Johnson Jr., Bajan, obviously not getting that work, but I blame Arthur Smith more than Bajan. Jalen Carter's getting all the hype. Darnell Wright has been a stud for the Bears. Respect. Skoronski, Gibbs. Gibbs finally got it done against the Raiders before the Lions went on bye, but now Montgomery's back, so they'll probably be back to using him as a scat back. Now, you remember before the start of the season, the Lions were like, oh, we're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs the way that you've never seen before. He's every single third down change of pace back in the league. So stupid. Van Ness, no. Jones, McDowell, Forbes. Forbes started out good and then became ass. Gonzo got hurt, except he's playing some great ball at the start. Jack Campbell's had some plays here and there. Cansey's been dinged up. JSN is starting to get a little bit of traction. There, Quentin Johnston. I mean, with Mike Williams out and Palmer dinged up, I mean, eventually Johnston's going to have to play, right? And actually do some things. Zay's putting up some nice numbers. Jordan Addison, 7 touchdowns. No big deal. No big deal. Dante Banks has looked good. Dalton Kincaid, for all the hype that he had coming into the season, like he's living up to a degree of it. Mozzie Smith has been whatever. Harrison, Murphy, no. Bruzzy, who we'll see on Sunday, been a bit of a rotational guy. Nolan Smith hasn't really gotten anything going. And JPJ is getting it done with the Steelers. I think that he will be a bona fide stud in this league. Sam Laporta is breaking like rookie tight end fantasy records, which is great to see. Except for he plays for the Lions, so F him. That's all. But yeah, there's a lot. Ooh, Clayton Tune, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, free Jaquelin Roy, by the way. That's all. Anyways, that's it. That's a quick buzz around the league at midseason. I got some thoughts going on. What are your thoughts and our thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.